Hi, Joe here from Shutter Speak Photography. Very nice to see your smiling face again here on YouTube. So, if you have a Nikon Z8, you know there is a big firmware update, firmware 2.0, and one of the features that I have long been awaiting has finally arrived for the Nikon Z8, and it's already in the Nikon Zf as well. So, what if there was a way to take super high resolution pictures, let's say up to 180 megapixels? Well, turns out now with firmware 2.0 for your Z8 or with your Nikon Zf, you can. It's a technology called pixel shift, and you may have heard of it. I'm going to show you how to set it up in the menus. I'm going to show you how I've mapped it to my camera to make it super easy to use. And I'll show you the limitations and the drawbacks and how you're going to merge those images together. So what is pixel shift? Well, essentially, basically what the camera is doing is it's just shifting the sensor by a pixel and taking multiple images that then later have to be combined to make a super high resolution image. You can take anywhere from 4 to 32 pixel shifted images. Again, you combine them in software and you get a super high resolution image with incredible amounts of detail. But like everything in life, there are some trade-offs, right? There's some drawbacks. I'm going to walk you through it. Let's check out the menus and we'll see how to turn this baby on. Okay, so we are here in the updated menu of our Nikon Z8 camera. Again, keep in mind you do need to update to firmware 2.0 to have this new feature. So let me show you where it is. First off, you're going to go to your photo shooting menu. That is the one with the little camera up at the top. And you're going to notice a new option in here. It's actually at the very bottom. So you're going to scroll all the way on down. Of course, you could have went up also. That would have been a shortcut. But I'm going to just show you the long way. Go all the way down to the bottom until you see. Well, it's actually not the last one, but it's pretty close. It's auto capture's in there now as well. I do have another video on auto capture and how to make that work for the Z9. It should be the same for the Z8, but I'm going to take a look at that just to make sure, but not today. Anyway, pixel shift shooting. So here it is in the menu system. You see it's off by default. You can move your cursor over to the right and you're going to enter into pixel shift shooting mode, the menus. So now if you go to the right on this first option here, you're going to see now you can turn it on and leave it on for a series of images. You can turn it on for just a single photo, or it can be off. Let's turn it on for a single photo. Next is how many shots do you want to take? So you can have 4, 8, 16, or 32. Okay, now delay. Do you want to delay? Well, you know what? A 2-second delay isn't a bad thing. So when you press that shutter button, you're going to have a delay of 2 seconds before it takes the picture. That just eliminates any camera shake from hitting that shutter release button. If you're on a remote, maybe you want to have that off. But I was not using. I was shooting on a tripod, but not using a remote. So I think that 2-second delay is nice, and then an interval until the next shot, and we can, of course, change that. But I would think in most circumstances you're going to want that to be 0, unless maybe there's a flash involved or something like that that you might be waiting for. So that's really all there is to it with the menus. And once you have this on, all you need to do is press the shutter release button and it will take that series of 4, 8, 16, or 32 images. Okay, so for the sake of clarity, I do want to explain the difference between 4, 8, 16, and 32 shots. So when you're taking a series of 4 pixel shift shots, you're going to get good color reproduction. When you move up to 8, you're going to get good color reproduction with less noise. And then when you move up to 16, you're going to get the higher resolution image. Okay, so 16 photos is going to give you higher resolution, good color reproduction, and then you can move up to 32 images, and 32 images gives you good color reproduction, the higher resolution, and less noise. So that's the difference. So really, if you want the higher resolution, it's the 16 or the 32, with the 32 giving you a little bit less noise than the 16. And the same thing with the 4 and the 8. You're not going to get the higher resolution. You're going to get better color reproduction. And if you want better color reproduction with less noise, choose 8. So really, most of the time I would say to you, choose either 8 if you're looking for better color reproduction, or 32 if you want better color and the higher resolution with that incredible detail. So, easiest way to do this, let me show you what I did for my camera, and maybe you want to do the same. I'm going to go down here to the setup menu. Nope, I'm sorry. I'm going to go to the custom settings menu. I'm going to go to F controls, and then I'm going to change my custom controls for shooting. And what I did was I took it right over here and put it on that fancy little function 3/image lock button. Now, I never use that image lock button. I've never locked an image ever. It's supposed to be so that you don't accidentally delete an image. I've never ever used it. I had it programmed to the playback button because I am lazy. I do use my Z6 II probably 5 days a week, and the playback button is in a different location, so just muscle memory. It's actually in that location where the lock button is. So I had reprogrammed the lock button to be playback, but I'm kind of used to it now. I've gotten used to the play button being in the bottom right. So I'm going to reprogram function 3 to, you guessed it, pixel shift shooting. Now, the way it works is once that's programmed to a button, whatever button it might be, you just need to press the button and hold it, and then with your back command dial, you can turn it off, on, or on for the series. And then your front command dial, you can select how many images you wanted to shoot. So that's a super quick and easy way to get pixel shift shooting onto a button on your camera so you can use it whenever you need it. Okay, so let's check out some sample images. And there's going to be some software that you're going to possibly need to download. I'm going to direct you to all of that, and I'll show you how it all works. Okay, so a few things before you get started. You absolutely are going to want to take these photos on a tripod, and you want to be in a spot where there is absolutely no movement whatsoever if you can help it. Indoors is probably the best use case for pixel shift shooting. You can do it outdoors as well. You just really need to be very, very cautious of any movement whatsoever, wind, movement of the clouds, etc. Now, I definitely took these in a very challenging environment because it's outdoors, there was wind, and of course, there are waves, right, in the water. So I did get some very good results. And, so go ahead, go out, shoot on tripod, take these pictures like you normally would. They're going to be NEF files like regular, your pixel shift shot images are going to be just regular NEF files. Okay. You can go ahead, bring them back and import them into your computer however you normally do. I normally import mine through Lightroom, and that's what I did here. And you see there's a bunch of images up on my screen. But now here's the next step, and this is a crucial one. In order to blend together these pixel shift merge, pixel shift shot images, you need a pixel shift merge tool, and that is built into Nikon's NX Studio software. It is free of charge, but you do need to have version 1.6 or higher. As of right now, version 1.6 is the highest, but I would expect in the future there will be other versions, so I'm just mentioning 1.6 or higher. And you'll know, you don't even need to go in and check which version you have. You'll know because I'm going to show you what the button looks like. Okay, so if you don't have this button right up here, Pixel Shift Merge, you need to update. Okay, and you're going to see now my images say pixel. So it's automatically recognizing the pixel shift shot images. The software will automatically recognize the groups. All you need to do is just push the button. You don't need to select any images whatsoever. It's going to sort through these images, and it'll tell you which ones are eligible. And here it is. We have 4 shots, an 8 shot, a 16 shot, a 32, etc. You could select them all, or you could just pick one. And that's the only option there. I don't even know why that's a drop-down menu. Chromatic aberration correction, you probably want that to be on. And where's it going to go? Naming options. I changed my naming option, and I changed it to pixel shift because it said merged. And merged, I could get confused with HDR. So I change that to pixel shift because it's very clear to me that this is a pixel shift, merged image. And then you just hit start and it would merge them together. And now here's the next catch. It creates an NEFX file. And you see right here, the icon is a little bit different. See this one? The icon that says pixel, it's kind of open. This is a bunch together. And you'll see the extension is NEFX. So that is the result of the merged image. Now, as of the making of this video, there is only one piece of software out there that will open an NEFX file correctly, and that's Capture One, the latest version. So if you have, say, Lightroom, Adobe Lightroom Classic, it will kind of open an NEFX file, but you're only going to see part of the image, not the entire image will open. So it's going to look like it worked, but it didn't, okay? So now what? Well, it's pretty simple, really. All we need to do is go over here to the filter button, and we can just change this to NEFX format. And now I can just select my images. In this case, I'll just pick them all, go to File, Export, and I'm going to export them as a TIFF. And then I can take that TIFF and import it back into Lightroom. So that's how I'm going to kind of get around this NEFX problem for now. Now, there are still a few gotchas by exporting to TIFF because there are some quality issues that come up, and I will illustrate that to you. So, but let me just jump right to the chase here. Let me just show you an NEFX image at this is a 32 image merge, and you can see that the picture is 16,512 pixels by 11,008 pixels. It's 907 megabyte, this file. Okay, and let's just wait for it to fully load in. And you can see these balconies here all the way in the background. And if we zoom in and do a one-to-one zoom, just look at the amount of detail that we have here. And now, of course, that's the problem with movement. See, the flag was moving, and you see the flag is all pixelated. So that's what I'm saying. Anything that moves is going to be a problem. Even this pole, this sail post probably moved slightly from motion in the water, and it is slightly pixelated. But of course, the building didn't move, right? And you can see, the furniture outside. We can maybe see some people, it looks like, outside here. So there's a staggering amount of detail in these files. Okay, so that's the amazing part of it. Okay, and looks pretty good. It did a good job with the water here, but as you're going to see when we get to Lightroom, the TIFF doesn't look as good. You definitely want to do this at low ISOs as well. When you go to high ISOs, the TIFF files have all sorts of hot pixels and stuff like that that don't exist in the NEFX files. So hopefully Adobe gets that built into Lightroom and Photoshop pretty quick. All right, let's take a look at some Lightroom images. All right, so we are back here in Lightroom. Let's take a look at that last image that we just looked at. Now, this is the TIFF version of it, and you can see the kind of discoloration in the water that didn't exist in that NEFX file. So again, this is part of that conversion process that is just kind of throwing some oddities in there, and I think this will all work itself out, but that's definitely a little bit strange, and maybe it's, I don't know, I have no answer, but let's just take a look and do that same zoom in. Let's go to the one-to-one zoom. And again, you just see all of that incredible detail there. So the TIFF files look great, but there are some artifacting, and it's not in all of them. This is the NEFX file. And now, just remember what I mentioned. It seems like it opened, but look, this is actually what the image should look like. So it didn't open it correctly. Okay, so just to confirm, 4 and 8 have the same identical resolution. 16 and 32 have the higher resolution. Let me show you some indoor images. Okay, so we have an indoor image here, of course, and now nothing in this scene whatsoever is moving. Tripod is perfect, camera is completely steady, and of course nothing indoors here is moving. Now, I will say this is a very high ISO image, and one of the things I did notice is that when we zoom in, we see some hot pixels, so I wanted to show you that. Okay, and for whatever reason on the zoom in, again, now we have all these hot pixels. They're not in the NEFX file, and they are not really evident until you zoom in. So there's definitely something going on here with the TIFF conversion. And then I did just run this through some noise reduction just to show you what that image would look like after the fact. And, I mean, it looks, pretty amazing. I mean, the detail is just, mind-blowing. If we look at the stained glass, for example, let's zoom in on that and take a look and see what that looks like. Okay, so we can see all of that incredible detail in this high-resolution file. So really, you can do some really incredible things with this, but again, there are some limitations to it as well. Most notably, absolutely no movement whatsoever is going to give you your best image. Again, maybe it is waiting a little bit for some file support from, people like Adobe, but for the most part, we're starting to, get to play with this, and this is definitely something that I've been waiting for a long time, and I think it's going to really enable you to up your landscape game. And again, here, zoomed in, let's zoom out so you can see the image first, right? And then we can zoom in and you see how this person was there and they moved a little bit and you can see what happened. But I mean, let's just look at the amount of detail that is in these pixel shift images. It's really quite incredible. So yeah, so really amazing stuff, but a few gotchas for now. All of this stuff is going to shake out. We're going to definitely see a lot of support for this, I'm sure, from Adobe for Photoshop and Lightroom and most of our other image editors. But I'm excited about this. I hope you are too. So yeah, there you go. Pixel shift. Thanks, Nikon. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here. Let me know in the comments if you plan on using pixel shift. And by the way, let me know in the comments if you ever use that lock button for anything on the back of your Z8 or any Z camera for that matter. I've never used it, but if you're using it, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what it is you're actually using that button for. So hey, again, I appreciate you. There is no channel without you. Please, if this has helped you out, you've learned something, let's do me a favor and hit like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you get notified of future updates on this channel. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. So thanks, YouTube. Bye-bye.